Happy Tuesday, Dirty Girls, and welcome to Training Tuesday. We are here on this beautiful fall evening. It's a little bit chilly, which is just how I like a good fall evening. And we're here tonight to talk about monkeys. Well, yeah, kind of to talk about monkeys. So tonight's topic is one that is near and dear to me because the challenge of the monkey mind. The challenge of the monkey mind is one that I have probably wrestled with and will continue to wrestle with for my entire life. And when we have the tools and the awareness to manage our monkey mind, we become a lot happier. And I can say that from experience. So, as I was thinking about topics, especially as we head into the holidays, our stress levels tend to go up. Everybody else around us has stress levels that tend to go up. We're interacting with more people at a higher, faster pace. It's the end of the year. We've got family and other relationships coming into the play that maybe we don't deal with year round. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And I thought that perhaps spending a little time talking about the monkey mind and how we can use it to our advantage, how we can basically start working with it to create for ourselves a little bit more inner peace and a little more inner calm as we head into a season that, while we sing about peace and love and light and wellness, it's not really known for its calm, right? The holiday season is not exactly the season everybody goes, oh, I can't wait to go in and just chill. It's not typically how that happens. So hello, I see Christine is here and Jackie is here, and the comments aren't coming up on my main screen. I don't know why, so I will be checking my other screen. If you see me looking down, that's why. And Rochelle, it's good to see you. So thank you all for joining tonight. So, so tonight we're going to talk about monkey mind, and we're going to talk about silence, um, inner presence, inner calm. What's the other word I use for this? I use a different word for it. Let me find it here. Why do we find... I can't find my word. I'll come up with it, and then I'll be using it all the time. At any rate, the self-empowerment that comes from finding basically your inner calm, your inner core, is what we're talking about tonight. So, hey, Joyce is here too. Yay, the gang is all here. All right, so let's talk about the monkey mind. In Buddhism, the monkey mind is the term that we use to refer to the pinging that your brain does, right? Your mind jumps from this topic to that topic to that topic. They're completely unrelated, but your mind is kind of hopping all over the place. So Buddhism, we call it the monkey mind, the monkey swinging from branch to branch, chucking bananas at you, right? It's just kind of creating chaos in your head. There are other doctors, other people, they have different terms for the monkey mind. Dr. Aditi Nurakar, who is one of my favorites, calls it the popcorn brain, right? Your brain kind of pinging up in different directions, new thoughts. It's chaotic. It's distractive. It is the way our brain sort of grabs onto fear and doubt and worry and anxiety, and sometimes happy thoughts too, but typically we kind of end up going in the negative direction. Now, this can be, and I believe has been, diagnosed as ADD. This is where I think we owe it to ourselves to be a little more careful. I was one of those kids who was initially told might be ADD. Now, I grew up in the era just before meds became a big thing with ADD and other, I don't know what you call them, disorders, situations, clinical diagnoses with kids. So because I was literally just a couple years behind the wave where we started giving Ritalin and other meds for these sorts of things, I was not given pills. When my parents were looking at, does she have ADD? What I was taught instead were different practices for centering my brain. So I do believe that we have a lot of overdiagnosis of ADD that literally just comes from a distracted mind. I also believe that our culture, especially today with technology, exacerbates that, right? The speed at which we look for, receive, absorb, and move on for information, right? Scrolling through feeds was not a thing when I was a kid, right? So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, right? YouTube, the rate at which we are absorbing and sorting through information, taking it in, tossing it out, trains our brain, right, to take in data, process it, and throw it out in literally seconds and minutes instead of minutes, hours, days, or weeks. It's a very different pace. So when I was a kid, instead of being given Ritalin, I was given techniques for trying to find clarity and focus. And these are techniques that have carried me in good stead throughout my entire adult life, not only to help me manage the distractedness of the monkey mind, but also to manage things like anxiety and depression, to regulate my emotions, to give myself space and inner silence to figure things out. So that's why I wanted to talk about it tonight, because as we head into a season of very high stress, of a lot of activity, of, yes, Joyce, neurodivergence, pretty sure I'm neurodivergent all over the place. I prefer to believe that there's just a very broad spectrum of normal. That's really what I think it is. And hey, Christine, it's good to see you. And there we go. My monkey mind was just, I lost my train of thought because I saw, oh, Joyce said something. Christine said something. Hello, ladies. Back to the topic at hand. The mental chatter, right? It prevents us from being focused. It takes away a sense of clarity. It makes it difficult for us to kind of find that inner core. And you can call it inner peace. Inner peace might feel lofty, but it's you. It's getting to the base of where you are the one thinking things through. You are the one making decisions. You are the one calling the shots for what you're going to say, what you're going to do, how you're going to respond. Now, in Buddhism, we teach meditation as a practice for managing the monkey mind, but I promised you tonight, I'm not teaching meditation tonight. I get that not everybody loves meditation. I also think we tend to have a very narrow view of what meditation is, and we can broaden, just like I have a very broad spectrum for normal, I think we can have a very broad spectrum for what meditation is. Because what it's really all about is fostering an inner stillness, just an inner stillness to give yourself space to be a little more aware, to think. The monkey mind prohibits us from really showing up as a leader. It really does. It is the number one thing that will stop you from being a leader, because the monkey mind is reactive. Not only can it finish a complete thought, because it's too busy pinging off of everything else spinning around your head, it stresses you out, it exhausts you, it makes you anxious, and it makes you reactive. So instead of taking in a situation, taking in a conversation, and determining how you want to show up in that moment, your reactive monkey brain just kind of spits out the next thing that came up. And the next thing that came up was usually driven by stress, by fear, by anxiety, right? By whatever was going on in that moment. And it's usually reactive to the loudest voice in the room. Not necessarily the most important voice, not necessarily the highest priority thing to deal with, just the loudest, because the loudest is usually what starts creating the noise that pings the monkey brain and creates all that anxiety and stress. So our goal tonight is to talk about how do we become more aware? How to become more aware of it so that we can sit with it and figure out, what is this monkey brain of mine doing? What is it doing? Why is it doing it? When we can understand that, then we can figure out, what's the action I'm going to take to refocus my brain? What's the thing that is the best thing for me to do in this moment to keep myself moving forward, to make a different choice, to show up a different way? Because we are the ones who create the energy, who create the space, the environment, the context in which we live. And how we respond in any given moment literally creates the life that you live. That's it. So, recently, I wanted to give you one example because I just thought that was cool, and I have to share this with somebody, so I'm sharing it with you guys in this context. But here's the thing. Those of you who've known me for a while know that I really do love silence. I'm a big fan of silence. Now, when I talk about inner stillness and silence, it doesn't have to be silent. It can be. It doesn't have to be silent. Putting on headphones and listening to music can also kind of pull you inward if it becomes like white noise, right? If it becomes white noise in your head. The whole idea, though, is to block out the outside distractions. If you're like me and you find song lyrics distracting because you want to sing to them all the time, music doesn't really work for you. But for a lot of people, music, they can turn that music into kind of that mood-inducing white noise, and then they can go inward. So for me, I need silence. And there is a place I go west of me to go find silence because they actually have programs that are silent retreats, and you can spend a whole day there and you don't have to talk to anybody. They can talk to you, but you wear a little badge saying I am being silent so that you don't have to talk to them. I find this a very therapeutic thing to do periodically. A few weeks ago, I was there and having a fairly silent day, and I was on a meditative hike. And the way they structure the meditative hike is that you hike out to a spot and they give you instruction, and you don't talk, and they give you instruction. And the instruction was, we hiked up this kind of hillside to a lake, and the instruction was, find a place to sit around the lake, and you're going to sit for 15 minutes and just be present. And we want you to notice what you wouldn't normally notice. And I thought, that's kind of weird instruction, but okay. But okay. So I sat down, and we all found different spots around the lake, and I sat down right as close to the water as I could get because I really like water. And for the first 7 or 8 minutes, I'm pretty focused on the water. I'm like, okay, be present, be in this moment, in this moment. I'm sitting by the lake, I'm watching the water. What am I noticing? I'm noticing that the water's got a little bit of ripple to it. See little fishes swimming in the water. I'm noticing the things I expect to notice, right? There's leaves and kind of branch debris floating in the water. The water's a little bit green. It's lapping up against the side of the bank where I'm sitting. I can hear the birds. You know, I can see a bit of the sky through the trees thing. And I'm really kind of focused on the water and watching the water. So for the first 7 or 8 minutes, I'm sitting there seeing the things that I expect to be seeing. And it was curious to me that the way they had phrased it. Notice the things you wouldn't normally notice. And I thought, well, I suppose if I was sitting here with a friend and we were chit-chatting and whatnot, I wouldn't be paying attention to the water. I wouldn't be paying attention to the fish or the way the current's moving. As I stare for the first 7 or 8 minutes at that, I'm kind of taking in that scene. I'm like, okay, I see this. And then I sort of mentally pull back, like kind of pull back the camera angle. And I pay more attention now to where I'm sitting. And I realize I'm sitting under a branch, like there's a big tree branch kind of over my head. And as I look up to see where I'm sitting, I realize the coolest thing I have ever seen. So I'm sitting there, and I'd been sitting there for 7 or 8 minutes and didn't notice that these branches were over my head, hanging over my head and over the water. The water is rippling, the sun is shining on the water, and the sun is reflecting back up on these branches, and these branches are literally twinkling. And it's like I'm sitting under a disco strobe light. Like literally I look up and it's just like twinkling, flashing on the branches above me. It was the coolest thing. It was literally like I was under a disco ball. And it was all from nature. It was all natural. And I sat there for 7 or 8 minutes and didn't even see it initially. Didn't see it at all. Didn't notice it because I was so fixated on the water, the pond. I'm sitting here in nature, like doing the thing. It can take us several minutes sometimes to truly pull back and gain that stillness and that perspective. And I'm sharing that because it really was a very cool moment. And I realized what they meant. That if you can pull back and you can pull away your assumptions, your expectations, you can finally see the thing you didn't necessarily see before. The same thing happens when now I am a meditator. I promised you I'm not teaching you to meditate tonight, but I am a meditator. I find it calming. I find it centering. I also find that when I allow myself to sink into that moment of quiet, the things that come up in my brain can illuminate for me that sometimes I was focused on the wrong thing. About, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I was sitting down listening to a guided meditation. So sometimes the meditations I listen to, they're guided. They kind of take you into a place, or they ask you to ponder a question. And this was asking me to ponder a question on something around fear and being stuck. And I went into the meditation with kind of a certain idea of like where I thought the fear and stuckness was. So again, I went in with certain expectations. So it guides you in, and then it asks you the question, it gives you thoughts to ponder, and then for the silent portion, you're in your head doing your pondering and your meditating, and then it leads you out again. And what happened was, as I was led into the silent piece, and I was like, yeah, and I kind of got that. I don't really want to think about that. Like my head was like not feeling it. Suddenly what popped up was, your resistance to this moment right now is exactly the fear and the problem that you need to be looking at. It was a moment of going, oh, it's me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem here. This whole idea that I'd come in with, which it was another situation that I was dealing with, and other people were being kind of jerky about it. And in that moment, because I took a step back and a breath from it, and I thought, I don't know, that's not really the thing. And suddenly I had a moment that went, oh, but this is the thing. It is the thing. It's just not the thing from the angle or the perspective you thought it was. So stillness can really illuminate things for us. And it's just a question of, how do you get there? And why do we do it? When we're in the grips of the monkey mind, we do not have clarity, right? We are so busy racing through the things we have to do, our responsibilities, the tasks at hand. All of these things cloud our judgment. Everything becomes a priority. Everything becomes loud. So finding that moment of stillness allows you to take a breath and discern what really matters right now. What's the decision I really have to make, that I really have control over, so that we're not doing the knee-jerk reactions. Hey, Christine, I like the disco girl. And hey, Jackie, you're here. Yeah, see, I can't, thank you. I'm not the only one. I cannot do music when I need to focus. I just can't. Another reason you want to find a way to practice your stillness, to practice just taking that moment, taking that breath in, is the increased self-awareness. Like I just described, suddenly realizing that the problem I thought I was solving, different problem. I was the problem. They were not necessarily the problem. And that opened up for me different ways to think about coming to a solution. Stillness also allows you to regulate your emotions. When we are responding to the monkey mind, it's hopping all over the place. It's responding to stress. It's triggered by stress. Typically then, we lean into, we heightened situations, heightened emotions. Something becomes high stakes that maybe wasn't really super high stakes to begin with, but all the noise suddenly makes this feel very urgent. And we're surrounded by high pressure jobs, and we've got deadlines, and we've got bosses, and we've got family members, and people around us are loud. And what they want is loud. Finding your baseline of calm allows you to stay a little more composed in those high pressure moments, so that you are not reacting emotionally to somebody triggering you. Instead, you choose how you're going to respond in that moment. It also allows you a little more creativity. I mean, why does everybody say, I get my best ideas in the shower? I mean, I don't know if everybody gets their best ideas in the shower, but that's a common thing, right? Why? Because when you're in the shower, there's nice hot water pouring on you. You've got soap and shampoo that smells nice. You're relaxed. You're getting clean. Your attention is on the job at hand, working on the body, which frees your mind to go in a little bit of a different direction. that suddenly a light bulb moment comes. We do have moments of inspiration when we can let our mind relax and it can go to places, not be driven to places, not out of reactiveness. If you can find your place of stillness, your place, your kind of core foundation of self, you are modeling leader behavior. So I do not care what your title is, where you are in the org chart, doesn't matter. You're still a leader. You are a leader because other people are watching you. Other people are always watching you. It might be the team that you manage. It might be your coworkers. It might be your boss or a team of leaders above you. They're always watching people on their teams to see how they lead. It might be your children. It might be your neighbors. It might be your partner, your family members. How you show up is how you lead your life, and how you lead your life is what you are modeling. It's what you're showing other people around you. You're a role model, whether you like it or not. You are an example of a way to live your life. When you can tap into the power that says, I am not going to be reactive, and I am not going to let the monkey mind control me, and I'm not going to use the excuse that I'm just ADD, but I'm actually going to manage myself. You show the people around you that taking a pause and a breath, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a power move. Being able to stop a conversation and say, I will respond to that after I've given it more thought. Being able to watch somebody else kind of blow up in their tizzy stress and just take a pause and let there be silence for a few seconds and not react is a power move. Use your centeredness to your advantage. And see the things you wouldn't normally see. See the stuff that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. Now, if you don't want to meditate to get there, totally fine. There are other ways to find the centeredness, to ground yourself. One of the ways is literally simply by taking a breath. Take 3 or 4 or 5, 3 to 5 deep breaths. Because when we take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, we are physically relaxing our body and slowing it down. And when you regulate your body that way, you're slowing everything down. It literally physically brings calmness to you. So just the one breath actually is a physical release. So do it. Take it. Take it. Why do people get frustrated and heave sighs? That release of breath is a release of energy. If you can do it with more intention, take a deeper breath and let it out, you can relieve the stress. So instead of just spewing negative energy out like a frustrated sigh does, you can actually relieve the stress and recenter yourself. And what you want to do is be where you are. Be where you are. Where are you in this moment? So one of my favorite books right now is this one. Oh, can you see it? The 5 Resets by Dr. Aditi Nurkar. So I've been listening to her on a couple podcasts. I love this book. If you are one of my clients, you have this book already. I literally sent it to everybody I'm working with. It is about managing stress for the most part, this book. It's a fabulous book. But one of the things she talks about is sticky feet. So in Buddhism, we talk about being grounded and being barefoot and putting your feet flat on the ground. Same idea. Keep your shoes on if you need to. But the idea is sticky feet. Take that breath and be where your feet are. Sticky feet is all about, I'm here in my feet. I am where my feet are. I am here in my office. I am at the doctor's office. I am in my backyard with my dog. Be where your feet are. Just pulling yourself back into your present moment can help ground you into moment of silence, right? It can ground you into that moment of silence. And in that moment where you are where your feet are, the question is, where am I? I am where my feet are. And what am I feeling right now? If your monkey mind is kicked in, you might be feeling 10 different things. I guarantee you 9 of the 10 things are all about stress and anxiety. It's all about your mind hopping. What I didn't do, what I should have done, what I should have said. Where do I need to be? Where do I need to go? Who's doing this next? I am here. I am feeling stressed because I have a very long to-do list. just check in. Check in. Are these thoughts that my mind is leaping to, are they helpful? Are they urgent? Is there an underlying anxiety that's triggering all this? Allow yourself to be in that moment. And what you want to do is identify where your monkey mind takes you. Your monkey mind has a top 5 list. I guarantee you there are 5 favorite places your monkey mind likes to take you, because those are the 5 places it finds you react the most, right? So it's going to hop to those 5 places. It's going to hop to anxiety about the kids, anxiety about what's for dinner, who cleaned the house, whatever's on your top 5 list. What does my boss think? What do my coworkers say? That's where it's going to go. When you can start identifying where the monkey mind likes to go, that's when you can start figuring out what you're going to do about it. But today is not about an action plan. Today is about learning to be. Be in the moment. Be where your mind is. Christine, the passive-aggressive sigh. I think that's a lot of mothers' favorite moves, right? I think a lot of us were raised with mothers where we had to do a lot of interpretation for facial expressions and sighs and things. Yeah, I get that. So 1 is sticky feet, be where you are. You can take, if you have more than a moment, you can meditate. You can put yourself through the same questions and the same motions by getting up and going for a walk. A walk can be a meditative practice. Washing your dishes can be a meditative practice. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged with a mudra in silence. You can be doing something, anything. You can be doing it for 5 seconds or 50 minutes that pulls you back to yourself. When you are pulled back in and you know where you are, the next questions are, what truly matters right now? We're discerning. I know where my monkey mind is. I know where it's hopping all over the place, but what really matters right now? What matters in this moment? Is there a bigger picture that I'm missing right now? Is there something I should be focused on that I'm not because my monkey mind is so busy distracting me? This happens to me all the time. I have a to-do list, and then I have a Teams chat, and I have my phone, and I have email, and it is really, really easy for me to go, oh, I'm going to start this project. Oh, but before I do, I'm going to check my email and respond to 10 messages, and 45 minutes later, I am nowhere further on my project. So asking yourself, what was more important, the 10 emails or the project? I guarantee you it was the project, right? Asking yourself the question, what's the bigger picture I'm missing right now? Where does my energy really need to go? I don't have to solve those 5 other problems this moment. They need to be solved? Sure. Can they be solved later today? Can they be solved tomorrow? What's the priority right now? This is how we start containing our monkey mind. What's the outcome I really want? Something that helped me recently, 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with our CEO. Now, the CEO has a certain way he is running a particular program. I would like to change the way we run that particular program. He knows that, and he asked for a meeting for me to come in with a group of team members who are working on an alternate solution to the program to propose what we wanted to do. And what I learned in that meeting, by not being reactive, was I sat back and I was able to watch the CEO. Because what happened in that meeting was a dialogue. And the thing was, even though my project, I was facilitating the meeting, I was not the leader of the arguments. And so I set up the meeting, I set up the 2 sides, and I said, okay, Mr. CEO, we know your point of view. Here's the team, they're presenting their point of view. Dialogue commence. By watching the dialogue and not being reactive, because my monkey mind was on, because my initial thought was to be reactive to what he was saying, I was able to step back and go, okay, but why is he reacting the way he's reacting? So he was hands down not interested in the change. And he was asking for 10 other things that were not really relevant to the proposal we were making to distract us from the change. So one, I realized, yes, he's defensive. Now, he wasn't coming at us in a very aggressive way or anything like that. But it was clear from the direction he took the conversation in that he was not interested in what we had to say. So what I got out of that, by watching this dynamic happen and by not jumping in and trying to protect the team and trying to push forward my own agenda, right? My monkey mind was getting defensive and wanting to push my own agenda. But by watching and listening to him, I realized, one, he's way more anchored into his position than I initially realized. I thought he would be easier to sway. Not the case. Two, the way we presented our case wasn't hitting the mark. So if I'm to persuade him to take a different approach with this program, I have to find another way. I have to find a different argument. I have to find a different path that meets him where he's at. When you can calm the monkey brain from being reactive, from jumping all over the place, and really pay attention to where you're at and what's happening where you're at, you can step back and go, this is not working. I need a new strategy. I need a new strategy. That's the project I should have been working on instead of responding to 10 emails and text messages on my phone. So taking that moment to pause, what truly matters? What's the bigger picture right now? Also allows you to step back and go, okay, so I know where my mind is going and I know where it needs to be right now. That's the main thing I want you to observe. With more time, what it allows you to dive into is the self-awareness piece. Why are these the things holding me back? What's the FOMO, right? What's the fear of missing out I have that has me checking my phone every 10 minutes to see if somebody texted me? Anybody texted me? What's the anxiety I feel that if I see that I have 4 emails and I haven't even looked at them, that I feel like people might think I'm a bad coworker if I don't respond right away, right? Identifying the assumptions that I'm holding on to that are holding me back raises my level of awareness for how do I really want to behave. So when I realized just how Pavlovian I was with my phone, right? The phone dings and immediately I have a text message. It doesn't matter who it's from. It doesn't matter what it's about. Immediately I grab my phone and I read my messages. Very distracted behavior, right? The phone can go off at any time. People can text me at any time. They don't know what I'm doing. I had to start silencing my phone. So now when I sit down to work, my phone is on silent. If you get a personal text from me during the day, it is because I picked up my phone and I checked it. I have to shut it off, except for emergency calls. I have a handful of emergency calls that can get through during the day. Other than that, you're going right to voicemail or your text is silent and unread until I actively pick it up. It is one of the ways I manage the monkey brain, because the monkey brain wants to respond to the distractions. And then suddenly I've spent 20 minutes on figuring out where to go for lunch this weekend. I did actually do that today. I spent 10 minutes on responding to a text that wasn't urgent and was just girlfriend chit chat. Could have waited till lunch, could have waited till after work. But distracted monkey mind combined with maybe a little bit of inner critic takes us way off course sometimes. And then we don't get done the things we need to do. So where am I spending my energy that I don't need to? Where am I losing my focus that's not helping me? Those are the go-to steps. That's going to allow you to create the action plan, which is great. And we want to do that. But for tonight, the main thing I want you to think about is not the action plan. I just want you to think about the awareness. When my monkey mind is pinging on 5 different things and I'm feeling stressed about and overwhelmed about all the things I have to do, what is that list exactly? Where is it going? Breathe, go for a walk, stand where you are, be present, calm it down, and figure out, okay, where is it going? And what's really the priority in this moment? Just by breathing and identifying those 2 things, you will change the game. You will change the game for how you show up and how you respond in any given moment. And it's a practice. You're not going to do this once and you're going to be fixed. You're not going to do it 5 times and it will be your forever habit. It's a practice. Finding your inner calm, your inner stillness, is like building any muscle. You do it daily. You don't work out your muscle and go, so cut, perfect, done now, never lift another weight. Not cut, I know that, but you know what I mean, right? We don't do that. It is an everyday practice. I have been doing it since I was a child. I will continue to do it. Some days are more successful than others. Fact of life. I'm human. It's okay. The goal isn't to rush to judgment. It isn't to rush into action. It is to raise our awareness so that it becomes more of a habit, to be a little more thoughtful, to give a little more pause, to be less reactive to the monkey mind, and more conscious and more intentional about the choices you make and how you lead. I promise you, just a little bit, practice the muscle a little bit each day. It will change your game completely. It is not about doing, human doing, right? We're human beings. It is about being. It is about how you want to be. Okay. That was my thoughts on the monkey mind tonight. I hope you found that helpful. Rochelle, that would be a dream. It's just practice. You can have your dream. It is practice, which I think you already do a bit, to be honest. Joyce, no, that's okay. I'll do it myself. Oh my God, that's the ultimate martyr phrase, isn't it? No, it's fine. I'll take care of it. Martyrs. That's what martyrs do. I've done it. I've done it. Yeah, I don't know if my mother's ever pulled that. I don't think my mother is a martyr. But I definitely have pulled that one. Friends have pulled that one. Other relatives have pulled that one for sure. That's a big one. So, manage your phone and devices go into auto silence. Yes. I am a big fan of shutting off the phone. We are so much more reliant on it than we realize. And only when I started doing these silent retreats where I have to lock the phone away for the days that I'm at it, there's literally no access. The freedom is amazing. It really is. But you also start to realize how habitual it is to just pick the damn thing up and just look at it. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So that is my Zen practice for you tonight, my friends, is awareness of your monkey mind, of where it goes, of why it goes there, of not using the I'm just ADD as an excuse, because I think it can be. I do believe it is a clinical diagnosis, and I do believe some people need their treatment for it. There is a place and there's a point where you can't manage it, then absolutely you need help. All I'm saying is that I think before we give in to saying it's just ADD, this is how I'm wired, practice this muscle and see what you can do with it, because I think you can do pretty amazing things. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight for Training Tuesday, for letting me talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, even if it's not one of our normal Training Tuesday topics. I hope you guys have a fabulous week, and I will see you next week.